Hello and welcome to iBuzz. This is your host, Nosheen Bukhari. Although this is just the midweek, but we won't let you get bored. Hence why we have brought you the latest and the most entertaining news from Showbiz world. First things first, let me quickly take you to the top stories of the day. Lisa Baines of Cocktail and Gone Girl fame dies after hit and run. Kevin Hart rallies against cancel culture. Micheal Costello says he became suicidal after Chrissy Teigen's bullying. Ahmed applauds Jacinda Ardern for rejecting film-pushing white savior narrative. In the Heights, Manuel Miranda is sorry for lack of Afro-Latinos in the cast. And now moving to the top story of the day. Renowned fashion designer Micheal Costello is accusing supermodel Chrissy Teigen of bullying him, making him one of the many who have alleged her of the same. To have further discussion on the subject, we have film journalist Mohar Basu with us. Mohar, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Nosheen.
So, Mohar, Micheal Costello is next in line accusing Chrissy for her bullying behavior. What is this fashion of celeb bullying? I mean, it has become so common these days.
That is true, Actually, it's not common these days. It's just that it's coming to the surface these days. I'm sure the culture of bullying has existed not only in the fashion industry or in the film industry, but across. It's there in high schools. It's there everywhere. So it's not something that has happened overnight. It's not a new phenomena. It is happening. People are discussing it more openly now because there's so much of emphasis on the fact that people's mental health is at stake right now.
True.
And I think that's exactly why this culture of bullying is being exposed.
Right.
It's not a new phenomena, it's just being exposed.
True. And previously we have been witnessing Chrissy coming out as a victim of bullying. I mean, when she lost her baby, how she was responded and how she reacted to those responses. She even mentioned that she's, struggling with her mental health because of all the social media backlash she has been receiving lately. And she even deactivated her social media account, stating that this online bullying is destroying her mental health. So this has now become very contradictory that Chrissy, herself has been doing this previously, and now she's stating that, she's the victim of bullying.
So, that's the thing. When someone is bullied, I think a part of them also kind of absorbs that energy, and it is possible that they do not channelize it more productively and they do not take a stand and say, hey, I will not become this person that I'm absolutely dead against. Sometimes they end up becoming the bully in the scenario. I think that's exactly what has happened with Chrissy here. But that said, if I'm not mistaken, this is an old tweet and an old incident that's
it is from 2012.
Absolutely. So Nosheen, here's my analogy to this whole thing. Should we be held responsible for something that happened in 2012 or 2011? 10 years later, we all could be different people, right? I'm hoping Chrissy has become a different person, a better person. She's evolved to be someone different. When I read her post, she talks about how she was the troll. And I am guessing, going by whatever she said after that, that she's no longer that person. So to vilify her based on something she did 10 years ago, I'm not sure where I stand on that. I don't absolutely agree that one should be cancelled based on statements they made in 2012. And this has become a very, it's become a norm. I'll give you an example. For example, I was watching the first season, the fifth season of and the first episode of this very popular show called The Bold Type, okay?
Yeah.
And Bold Type very, very, very candidly discusses the cancel culture. Now, what is the cancel culture? That you could be cancelled for saying something that you don't probably mean anymore. You might have evolved beyond that point, but you still are held responsible for an opinion that you had, an uninformed opinion that you had 10 years ago. So I feel that's what happened to Chrissy in this scenario. And that said, someone came out against Micheal saying that, hey, you decided to abandon me as well. You decided to dress me up in something I wasn't comfortable in, the singer Leon. And I was just aghast. Like, if we go back and dig all of our past, I'm sure there's skeletons in everyone's closet, right? To bring that out publicly, how is it helping? Like, what is the constructive? There has to be some constructive criticism coming out of it. Is it constructive? I just don't see the line of thinking and the line of questioning that we're going through. This whole netizens going after one person. I don't see this as constructive.
True, and it sounds very unethical to bring past forth and then judge a celebrity's personality on those bases. Courtney Stodden has also accused Chrissy of bullying her online. I mean, some old tweets, just like you said, that they have been resurfacing. But it has become a norm lately. We've seen that, bringing old tweets from the past and, letting them resurface and then, destroying a celebrity's culture, entire career that way.
Absolutely. You know what happened with Ellen? Like, she was called out for having a very toxic work environment. But is Ellen, and when she started the new season, that's the first thing she discussed, that, hey, I am sorry I made you feel like that. I hope Chrissy has become a better person. I hope she's able to get beyond this point, because canceling each other is not going to help.
Yes, and Chrissy has also released an apology statement just recently stating that she is mortified and sad at who she used to be. And she told that she was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. In your opinion, will that work a way out for Chrissy?
I don't know. I hope it does, because haven't we all been that person at some point in our lives? The problem is women, especially in the film industry, in modeling industry, in the fashion industry, are put through so much. There's so much emotional, mental turmoil for them. Imagine being in a scenario where your livelihood depends on the way you look. That could give rise to so much of insecurity within you. And I think a lot of the negativity stems from there. I think we need to make it a more empathetic industry. If Chrissy was wrong, so was Micheal. If he decided to put someone in an outfit they're not comfortable in, and they decide, and if he genuinely, I am not sure whether he did that, but if he did that, that's as wrong. You've got to respect all body types. So that's another conversation that needs to be had. That said, how is cancelling going to help? Shouldn't we make this an opportunity to discuss beyond, to say that, hey, she was the shitty person before, but she's not this person anymore. So let's give her another chance. We got to find a way of forgiving each other and giving each other another chance, I think.
True.
And that goes for celebrities for sure.
Right. Mohar, because of such episodes, we have seen the cancel culture growing even stronger, especially through social media. Kevin Hart just recently released a statement against cancel culture. But my question is, why is it that jumping to conclusions in cancel culture have become the solutions to such issues?
I think because people are not being empathetic. I think that's where the crux of the problem lies. There's a genuine lack of empathy in each other. When I see someone and I'm like, hey, you said this horrible thing and I'm never going to see your face and I'm going to cancel you. I think I am as wrong as the other person because I have decided that the person will never change for better. I'm not even giving that person the chance. That said, another facet of cancel culture is also the fact that a lot of celebrities do not own up to their mistakes. It is very essential, even as celebrities, to come out and say that, hey, yes, I was wrong. Yes, I am willing to be a better person. You have to publicly, if you've done something wrong, have the guts and the spine to publicly acknowledge the fact that you've gone wrong with it. There's nothing wrong in that and there's no shame in it. We all make mistakes and we are all just human.
True, but sometimes even apologies don't work. Like a lot of stories began resurfacing against Ellen, and this continued happening the entire year since 2020, so much so that Ellen decided to, end her show, and the next season will be the final season of her show. So do you think that indicates the power of social media? Of course, we know that it is being negatively used, but it's the social media actually that is, destroying the careers so instantly, in a snap.
I think social media could be a better place. This has been a recent learning that Twitter could be a place where people could be kind to each other. When the entire time the pandemic was raging in India, I actually saw this whole platform that was so full of hate and vitriol. Just come up, step up and be there for each other. hey, I need plasma, I'm there for you. Hey, I need oxygen, I'm there for you. I think that was very kind. So I think I have learned that there is possibility that the social media could be used constructively. That said, I think social media is also made up of people, and people need to be nicer. I think you can't put your celebrities on pedestals so easily. You can't have that expectation that they will never go wrong. And if they ever go wrong, please guys, forgive them. Please, it's okay.
Yeah, and
we all are capable.
True. Mohar, how much do you see the lobbying is involved in bringing a certain celebrity down and, using such strategies against the very famous or some of the celebrities who are enjoying the peak of their fame? And suddenly, one fine morning we wake up and see that, okay, their career is no longer there. So do you think that there is a factor of lobbying as well? Because many times we've seen these celebrities apologizing, but they're not accepted.
Okay, so this is a multifaceted question, and let's go one by one. Yes, is there a culture of lobbying across film industries and fashion industries? Absolutely. Every film industry in the world has a certain lobby culture. Now, who is at fault? Suppose if a celebrity has done something wrong and we have decided to cancel that person. The power at the end of the day lies with the big networks, the big studios, the big production houses, and the big designers. And basically the power brokers have to be more responsible. You have to give them another chance if they have decided redeem themselves. You have to. As a power broker, I think an actor should have the license to work with whoever they want if they deem fit, that they have been, they have made amends, considerable amends.
True. Mohar,
that's where I stand.
Mohar, thank you very much indeed. It was a great discussion with you.
Thank you so much, Nausheen. Take care.
That was our guest, Mohar Basu. And now we're moving to other story details of the day. Gone Girl star Lisa Baines has passed away days after receiving serious injuries in a road accident. The 65-year-old was hit by an electric scooter on June 4th and died after spending a few days in a hospital in New York. One of Lisa's close friends confirmed her death, saying she lost her fight amid a traumatic brain injury. Baines appeared in numerous television shows and movies, including Gone Girl in 2014 and Cocktail with Tom Cruise in 1988. On television, she had roles in Nashville, Madam Secretary, and NCIS. During a recent interview, the Jumanji actor, 41 years old Kevin Hart, criticized the internet trend. Hart claims that all things that were once considered amusing or accepted are now cancelable. The comedian himself was also ensnared in a controversy over his past homophobic tweets and jokes, after which he had to step down as the Oscars host in 2019. The Academy Award-nominated actor Riz Ahmed was all praises for New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern after she criticized a film centered on her highly praised response to the Christchurch attack of 2019. In an Instagram story posted on Monday, the reluctant fundamentalist actor heaped praises on Ardern for not letting Muslims get decentered in their own stories that should be focused solely on them. Titled They Are Us, the US-backed film has sparked an intense backlash among New Zealand Muslims, with community leaders slamming the project for pushing a white savior narrative. Shortly after the premiere of his Broadway musical turned film In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda issued a Twitter apology for the lack of Afro-Latino representation in the movie. Miranda, who is of Puerto Rican descent, produced and acted in the film based on his 2008 Broadway hit of the same name. The title of In the Heights refers to Washington Heights, a prominently Latino neighborhood in New York. Critics accused the film of whitewashing the area, as the main cast features only one dark-skinned character, a Corey Hawkins, who portrays love interest Benny. And that is it from Newsroom. We will be right back after a quick short break with a tribute to Tupac. Stay tuned. Welcome back. June 16th, Tupac's birthday. And so we're here to pay him the tribute. Tupac Shakur, better known by his stage name Tupac, was an American rapper, songwriter, and actor. He is widely considered to be one of the most influential rappers of all time. Much of Shakur's work has been noted for addressing contemporary social issues that plagued inner cities, and he has often been considered a symbol of activism against inequality. To pay a birthday tribute to Tupac, we have Jamie Lowe with us, the entertainment journalist from UK. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to be here.
So, Jamie, although Bob Marley had and several other singers had been setting the bar, targeting the social injustice and then pinpointing them through their songs, Tupac was responded more than any other artist in the world.
Absolutely. I mean, his first single, wasn't it? Brenda Had a Baby. I mean,
yeah.
What, thug life rapper chooses that as his first single, but I think that's part of his childhood, a tough childhood. But I think the social issues and social betterment and the care for his community was really instilled into him when he was developing as a youngster.
Yeah. And talking about his music, the lyrics that he used to come up with, they seem to be very ahead of their time.
Well, absolutely. When he was in a school, a performing arts school in Baltimore, where he met Jada Pinkett Smith, an actor which I'm sure we all know, he sort of majored partly in poetry and ballet, and so he really had a taste for the arts, and that came, he sort of built a bridge between two worlds, traditional arts and the sort of burgeoning hip hop scene at the time in the 80s, and I think that's why his music sort of stands out so much even today, because he was classically trained and he understood the principles and sort of made it work in a totally new context.
Right. Now there are certain communities that state him as a political activist, whereas he never considered himself as one. Why is it that any artist who tries to, draw the public attention towards an important issue is politicized normally?
Well, I think he drew attention to the sort of subjects and topics which a lot of people weren't ready to look at in the 80s. I mean, New York at that time, I've watched many, that's how I learned my most about Tupac, was from watching many documentaries, and those documentaries often come with a bit of context about how New York was in the 80s and the 70s, and it was a really tough place to live. He sort of came up in Harlem, and he drew attention to things that we're only beginning to probably address right now, with the whole sort of Black Lives Matter movement and social inclusion. He was way ahead of his time in that respect.
Right. And let's also talk about his film career. Tupac appeared in a number of films, mostly crime and action, which is not much highlighted, but there are like a number of movies that he had been appearing in.
Yeah, and that's sort of ignored sometimes. His film career was just as explosive as his music career. He really sort of very quickly sort of shot up the ranks. I mean, he died at 25 in less than a quarter of the life that probably you and I can expect to enjoy. He really changed the game, and the amount of movies that he starred in, Juice, for example, a great film, and even smaller parts before then. It just sort of shows his abilities across very different genres, I think.
Exactly. And for the lead role in the eventual 2001 film Baby Boy, where the lead role is being played by Tyrese Gibson, it was originally, it had Tupac in mind, which means that he was a highly skilled actor who was, foreseen by the directors, topping, the movie world.
Absolutely, and I'm not really a Star Wars fan, but I do know that Tupac was in the lineup for a Star Wars movie, and had circumstances been different, where would he be today? That's the question that I often ask myself.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tupac had been one of those celebrities who gained more fame after their death. I mean, 5 more albums have been released since Shakur's death, all of which have been certified platinum in the United States, which is very unfortunate. I mean, that happened with a lot of artists out there, but Tupac is one of those prominent ones who gained fame after their death.
But I think what that shows is his work ethic. You know, those albums wouldn't have been released unless he was, you know, tirelessly in the recording studio, writing, producing. And the fact that I think it's close to 6 albums actually that came out after his death, and the fact that that happened just shows you the work that he was putting in. I mean, I watched a documentary. It was the Nick Broomfield documentary about the Tupac Biggie feud, and one of the contributors said he had a sense that his life was going to be short, so he was putting the work in now while he could, essentially.
Right. Tupac's murder still remains a mystery since the murderer was never caught. Some conspiracy theories have evolved lately. Some are still saying that Tupac is alive. You know, a lot of conspiracy theories have been evolving. In your opinion, I mean, how do you see this entire scenario, the conspiracies exclusively that are evolving every now and then?
I mean, I think it's sad, honestly, that, you know, I don't think it's a true homage to the artist, to, you know, to try and believe that they're hiding on an island somewhere in you know, the Cayman Islands, selling themselves. I don't think that's a great way to respect what was, you know, controversial but nevertheless a great figure. And I think that just comes with a great young person dying, a talent, you know, a candle that's burnt out. I think that comes. People aren't ready to accept, and I don't think the Coachella hologram that appeared to crowds helped with dispelling the rumors that Tupac is still alive.
Right. And do you think that the rappers coming later than the year 1996, you know, they have managed to continue the legacy? Because a lot of rappers, they're spiritually connected to Tupac. They think that, you know, they got inspired by his work, and then that's how they continue doing the rap. So do you think that the legacy continues, or it was just Tupac and his work stopped right there with his death?
Well, we'll take it this way. I mean, we were talking before the show, and we were talking about how European music fans, particularly like rap, hip hop, and a particular genre that we've cultured here in the UK, grime and drill music. And it leads me to, I'm not going to compare the two because they're very different people. But we do have, I'm sure you've heard of him, Stormzy, who takes social issues as, you know, one of his crosses to bear. You know, he really, you know, he sponsors young black children, young black people to go to university, and he really pays back to his community. So in that sense, yes. I mean, Tupac had several issues. You know, he was really a part of the gang life culture when he was alive. And I think his social issues, his focus on social issues, that part of him has definitely played on. And I think we're seeing it. Maybe it's not instilled by him, but we're definitely seeing that sort of stuff in our sort of music stars today.
Right, Jamie, with wishing the late and very talented Tupac happy birthday, we thank you for being with us today.
Thanks a lot.
That was Jamie Lowe paying a birthday tribute to Tupac. And that is it from today's episode. We hope you liked it. Don't forget to share your feedback on the social media link mentioned down below. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care and goodbye.